Gracie Jiu-Jitsu rocks. Welcome to the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Rocks podcast, a podcast dedicated to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and all things Gracie, including self-defense, competition, anti-bullying, women's self-defense and empowerment, nutrition, and most especially, the people involved in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. This podcast is for the average Joe. It's for anyone who practices, trains, teaches, or just loves to talk about or hear about Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. We'll explore the lives of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, how they got involved in the art, and what effect it's had on their lives. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. Welcome to episode 14 of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Rocks podcast. As always, I'm your host, Marty Josie, and thanks for listening. Today's quote is, "Learning defense improves the attack. If the lion knows how the prey can escape, it'll capture it in a much more precise way." And that quote's from Helion Gracie, a very good and interesting quote indeed. So I'd like to talk for a minute about what you do off the mat to enhance your development and skill in jiu-jitsu. I know I've heard from a lot of people that they do various things, everything from yoga, strength training. Some people swear by kettlebells, special or specific diets like the Gracie diet or paleo or others. Some people use grappling dummies, and some use books and or videos. So what do you use, if anything, to enhance your skill and your development in jiu-jitsu? I'd love to know what you do. So join the discussion by leaving a comment at www.graciejujitsu.com or call 919-251-5053 and leave a voice message. Please remember that all written as well as voice messages are subject to being read or played on the air. And I think I just said the website incorrectly. It's www.graciejujitsurocks.com, not just graciejujitsu.com. Okay, my guest today is Guido Jenniges, a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Black Belt and an instructor out at the Gracie Academy in Torrance, California. So let's meet him now. Guido, welcome.
Hi, Marty. How are you? Nice to be on your show.
All right. Wie geht's?
Sehr gut, mein Freund.
Was ist los?
Everything is amazing, especially after Germany won the World Cup.
Yeah, right? That's awesome. I just wanted to show off that I knew a few German words, man.
Here we go.
Thanks for indulging. So thank you so much for your time and being available today, Guido. I know everybody's going to be really interested in hearing your story. And let's start by talking about something that you've been involved in, a very interesting thing, and that's teaching jiu-jitsu to the blind kids at the Braille Institute. So can you tell us all about that?
Yes, that is actually my favorite class of the week. And it started way back with one of our students, Nathan Russell, who has actually been one of Huron's private students, got all the way to purple belt. He's actually the only certified instructor, only blind certified instructor we've ever had here. He went through our instructor certification program. He runs a little garage, a little bit outside of Los Angeles. Unfortunately, his health has not permitted him to train lately. He turned blind at the age of 33 through diabetes, and diabetes is actually still giving him other health problems at this time. So let's hope he's getting better. He's a very dear friend of ours, and he actually made the introduction to the Braille Institute.
I met him when I was out there, same trip that I met you about 3 years ago, and he was out there at that time. I remember him being there. So
yes, very nice man, and very good spirit. I mean, I can't even imagine what my life would or any of us would be like if especially at the age of 33, all of a sudden you turn blind. I mean, I think I'd rather give a limp. It's just, you're just so dependent on everything, on everybody.
I can imagine.
It's ridiculous how people manage life at that stage, but they do, and Nathan is a great example of that. And Jiu-Jitsu keeps him going, even though he's not physically practicing it right now. I'm sure that mentally his mind is on Jiu-Jitsu every day, and he's going through moves, and when he's going to be back on the mat, he's probably bigger and better than ever.
Absolutely.
Stronger than ever. Yeah. So anyhow, he did the introduction with the Braille Institute. Obviously, he was a student at one time at the Braille Institute. Myself, Mario Schaub from the Solana Beach Certified Training Center. Him and myself, we went over there, and with a couple of other volunteers from the academy, did a nice little 2-hour seminar at the Braille Institute. We brought our mats, put everything together. Everybody was excited over there. Did a little bit of women empowered grip releases and trap and roll, the basic stuff we usually do for our intro classes. Came over really well. And then actually the lady who takes care of the kids came by, and I started talking to her about our Bulletproof program. And she said right away, we have to have it. Our kids are getting constantly bullied. Obviously, they're fragile, they're weak, and those are the ones who would like to get picked on, right? We all know how bullies operate.
Right.
And then we actually invited them to the academy, and it was about a dozen kids, some of them completely blind, and for the most part, they're visually impaired. That means that some of them have still some vision of shades. They see some colors, frames. Some of them actually still have a pretty good vision, but there are, most likely, all of them are going to be blind at one time or another in their life.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, it's just an incredible thing that you've been able to be with that population and to serve them in that way and to bring jiu-jitsu to them. How awesome is that?
Yes, it's been a very rewarding class for me. I must say that it's I'm pretty sure that I get as much joy and pleasure out of this class than the kids do. And approaching the jiu-jitsu with them is actually a little bit different, obviously, than with the regular Joe Blow student.
Right.
I actually do work on their motor skills. Just a basic thing like balancing on one leg is a challenge for them. And some of the kids don't know how to grip because their grips are so soft that they don't really know how to squeeze a hand or how to hold a wrist or how to choke somebody. That's just something they never learned. And especially since in school, physical education, most of them are excused for physical education, so they don't have to do any physical exercise. And that's just a double whammy for these kids.
Right.
You know, I mean, if you are, visually impaired and you're not exercise, obviously then obesity comes in, and that's one reason why some of these kids end up with diabetes, because they're just not being challenged to exercise, period.
Wow.
So it's
what a shame, because
story. Yes.
Obviously that could benefit them so much, and it sounds like it's a very neglected area. So it's so great, it's so powerful that you've been able to bring that to them. What's been the most interesting part of doing that, and is there anything that was unexpected about working with those kids?
Well, I think unexpected was that they actually learn as good and as fast as any other student would. And the progress I've made with them is I think, and all my assistant instructors, I think it's been pretty incredible. It's just, you just have to do a little bit more touchy-feely type of approach, and you have to let them feel the move. So you have to let them play the bad guy, and you're the good guy, and you trap and roll them, and you roll them out, and once they feel the move, they can associate themselves a little bit better with the actual technique. So, but down the road, once they have a couple of repetitions, they can exercise the technique as good as anybody. And
wow.
We have a couple, 2 or 3 girls in there who are like have gotten really good. And actually, we had one signed up for our regular class, and she actually is part of the Black Belt Club right now. She's doing really well. She started to do tournaments. Jennifer Flores. I'm not sure about
Very
the
nice.
last name. Jennifer Flores is her name. Yes, she is. Ronda Rousey is her idol. She wants to become an MMA fighter one day. So.
That's awesome.
Very,
really
very
awesome.
incredible story, yes. And it all started from them coming here one day, and now her brother is also training here. Dad shows up, watches them. So yes, it's been pretty amazing. And we've gotten feedback from the parents also that sometimes the visually impaired kids are very withdrawn. And we've actually gotten feedback from the parents that they have gotten more active at home, that they're, also we talk about diet with them, especially with them. It's very important for me to bring that up. I'm sure Horion would be very happy about that. Because these kids, because they're bored, they eat. And
Sure.
they don't think about exercising rather than, and they sit on the couch and I don't know what they do with their free time, but these are things which are important to those kids, So yeah, the progress has been pretty amazing, and even though I really only have them 3 times a month maybe, and that's only through their semester, which is September through December, and then, or maybe September through January, and then maybe February through May. So it's really not that much time I have with them, but it's still more than they get anywhere else.
Absolutely, and I'm sure it's plenty enough time to make a powerful impact in their lives. So I really salute you for taking that on and being open to do that.
Well, it's been fun, I tell you, and I always like a challenge. Obviously you have to think a little bit outside the box teaching visually impaired kids, and it is a challenge, and it's fun, and it does eventually, I believe, it has made me a better instructor overall.
Interesting.
I've been very happy doing it, and like I said, that gives me as much pleasure to see these kids smile, then probably gives them pleasure to be on the mat and just kind of mess around a little bit.
Absolutely. And I can imagine how that helps you become a better instructor, because we're so dependent on our vision and to be able to absorb and learn through that. But when you don't have that, you have to fall back on more developing that kinesthetic awareness and that sensory awareness. So that's got to be a whole different thing. But I can imagine how that being able to, or having to go through that mode develops you as well.
Yeah, if you ever want to try it, just tell your student to close his eyes for a lesson. And maybe if you want to put yourself into Nathan's position as a blind instructor, close your eyes too and try to conduct the class in the dark.
Wow. That's great. I mean, I've done I've closed my eyes as the person going through drills before, but never
even during rolling. Yes, during rolling, just close your eyes during rolling, and it becomes a little bit of a different game.
Absolutely.
You do have to depend a little bit more of your other senses.
Absolutely.
And that's actually kind of fun. It's a good exercise.
Yeah, we all need to develop more of that feel, that sensory aspect, for sure.
Correct.
Well, thank you for sharing that aspect of the work that you're doing. Very powerful, very important. So, again, I salute you. Let's step back now, Guido, and just talk about your jiu-jitsu, your martial arts journey, how you got started, how you got introduced, and how that's been throughout the years, and because I know you've been at it quite a while, and how that led to your black belt and to you getting to the Gracie Academy.
Well, I was lucky. I'm a native Torrance. I mean, not native, but I've been in Torrance all the time that I've been in the States. I've been in the South Bay, San Pedro, Torrance. So I came here in '88. I came through, back in the days, through an all-star soccer team to the United States. Played soccer all my life. And
oh, wow.
At 33, I finally realized that soccer was not all in the world. And actually, I had just gotten into a fight at a New Year's Eve party where a couple of guys ganged up on me. And they beat me up pretty good. So at that point in time, I figured, you know what? Soccer is not it anymore for me. I'm going to start a martial art. And, I think as a kid, everybody thinks about, at one time or another, maybe having a black belt in a martial art. And especially my generation is a little bit the Bruce Lee generation. He was the big shot back in the days, and it always looked cool how he was flying through the air and all that kind of stuff. So I always had that in the back of my mind that maybe one day I'll become a martial artist and learn a little bit kung fu, taekwondo, anything like that. So when this happened and I got a little bit tired of soccer, I started looking around. Once here in the South Bay in Torrance, we have everything obviously available: taekwondo, aikido, what have you. And I went to watch their classes, and it was just nothing appealing to me. It's like karate, taekwondo, and I don't want to take anything away from these martial arts, obviously, but standing in line and doing the kicks and the punches was just not my idea of exercising. I wasn't only looking for martial art, I was also looking for something which continuously keeps me in shape and challenges me physically. So then one of my good friends told me about the Gracie Academy, which was basically right around the corner from where I was living. Honestly, at the time, I had never heard about jiu-jitsu. I'm embarrassed to say that. I didn't know about the UFC at the time, but when I didn't know about the Gracies, even though
you just had some great luck, huh? Just to end up there without even knowing.
Like I just walked in there with my eyes shut. But when Horian did the 10-minute intro on me, and I watched the guys do their sparring and do the class, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And I signed up right away. There was no 10-minute intro. There was no 10-day free trial at that time. And I didn't care because I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I signed up in April 98. By May 98, I had my blue belt. Because I just became a jiu-jitsu maniac, like some of us do. You know, once we started, it's like a drug. It's like a,
Yeah.
you know, and the first sparring session, 140-pound kid just beat me silly, tapped me left and right, and at that point in time, I figured if I can learn what this kid knows with
Right.
140 pounds, me being 190, you know, to 200-ish, you know, depending on the time
Right.
of the day, there's not going to be a whole lot of people who can beat me.
Right on.
And from that point in time, it was just like going crazy, you know, going training, seminars. You know, Hoyce was teaching at the time, which was amazing, you know, being taught by a legend. And when I started here on Henna, we're still teenagers. I think Halleck was 10, Henna was 12, 13, Hiram was 14, 15. So watching them going through that transition, going through puberty and becoming man and becoming the vicious fighters they are today, and the smart fighters they are today.
Right.
And just seeing the whole transition of the Gracie Academy here on Torrance Gracie headquarters has just been an amazing experience. You know, watching Henna and Hiram grow up and kind of how should I say, you know, doing a little bit of evolution of the jiu-jitsu. You know, back in the days, we had the best teachers for sure. Back in the days, it was still pretty rough at the academy. It was still kind of a do-or-die type of attitude back in the days, and only survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
So, and obviously that mentality has changed, which is good. You know, I think that's one reason why the academy has grown to to 800 students like we have them today. The kids program is amazing. Women Empowered has just been going off the charts over the last 3 years here at the academy, and you know, just being part of that, watching the changes here on Henna brought into the game, it's just been phenomenal, and I'm just blessed that I'm part of it, and being able to teach it at the headquarters. You know, it's jiu-jitsu heaven here.
Absolutely. What an amazing opportunity to get started.
I have to say I did have to buck Henna for many, many years to get to that point. So he did not give it to me easy.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Quite a process, huh?
Yeah, so anyhow, I got my purple belt from Hoyce back in the days. Then there were a handful of brown belts, and I was fortunate in 2007 to be one of the first black belts ever given by Horion, including Ed O'Neill, Chet Shammelhorn, you had him on your podcast, and a few other people here from the academy. So it was 7 at the time, and that was December 2007, and you know, just happened to be lucky to be one of the first ones, and I'm very proud of that. And after that, it's started, you know, helping one student at a time on the mat, helping them doing sparring, getting more involved with the kids' classes here, getting a little bit involved with the women class, learning how to teach, going through all the instructor certification programs, learning how to teach the women, learning how to deal with the kids. I mean, I really think that just being here in this environment, you know, watching Hiram and Henna teach all the time, and of course having other amazing instructors here who come in here as guests, doing seminars like Hoyce, like Hickson. You know, you just pick the best from everybody, and then you put your little personality in it, and then that makes you what you are. And I think one of the reasons our academy is one of the best out there is because we have not only Hiram and Henna and Horion here as the head instructors, They have created really a bunch of amazing and unique assistant instructors. You have Brian Ortega, who is obviously become an amazing individual. You have Jordan Collins, Alex Stewart, Alex Ueda, Michael Everett, who's one of our new guys who just been eating up jiu-jitsu like mad. And everybody has their own little personality. And if the students come in here, they'll pick the best from each one of us. So it's just an amazing opportunity to pick everybody's brain and just pick whatever technique they want to take or whatever detail works for them, because we all talk about different details, a lot of times, or what detail might be more important for me might not be as important to Alex Stewart, for example. So
right.
I bring up one detail more often than he does, or he brings up a different detail. So you just pick whatever works for you, and it's just, I think that's why our students today, besides the Gracie Combatives program and having everything as how should I say, as scheduled as we have it today and programmed as we have it today, I think it's just people learning today much faster than even I did back in the days when everything was a little bit more random.
Yeah, I think the structure that they've come up with really helps a lot of people absorb it more efficiently and effectively. Plus, especially the students that, even more so the ones that are out there with you guys and that amazing team. And I've heard so many people speak highly of you, when they've got to go out and train with you and absorb kind of your knowledge and your insights. So,
wow, thank you.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about your recent trip to Germany. And again, kudos to Germany for the World Cup, right? I didn't realize you were a soccer player too, so that had to be even more of a thrill to watch them win.
Yes, there's not a whole lot of sport I watch, but when I do watch, it's the World Cup, and I do watch pretty much from A to Z. Whether Germany wins it or not, I pretty much watch all the games, and it's to me, it's obviously, it is the single most watched sports event in the world, and
wow.
it's pretty exciting. So, and I was actually in Germany the first round of the World Cup. So I got to watch the first 3 games with my friends, which, of course, that makes it even more exciting. But in terms of jiu-jitsu, what I've been trying to do, obviously, is, Grandmaster Elio here on Hanna Horion, we want to bring jiu-jitsu to the world. And obviously, me being German, I started teaching seminars about 3 years ago, and it's been growing, and I would usually only do it when I'm there to visit my family, and I would maybe stop here and there, just maybe 1 or 2 seminars during my trip. But the last trip I actually took was strictly about jiu-jitsu. I did have a lot of inquiries. The word is kind of going around in Germany, so I'm very proud of that. We already have created 1 certified training center in Düsseldorf. Ismail Gig, Daniele Catalano, they're doing an amazing job in Düsseldorf. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu department went from a handful, a half a dozen, and today I think that 70, 75 GJJ followers over there. So
nice,
amazing. But actually this time I got invited to different academies, and a lot of them have nothing to do with jiu-jitsu. So overall, the need or the desire to learn round techniques is becoming bigger and stronger in Germany also. I taught, for example, in Hamburg at a ninjutsu academy, which actually was a pretty big academy, 400 students there. Obviously, not all of them came to my seminar, but I had all their instructors there at my seminar, and even a few people coming from far away. who are Gracie University followers. The head instructor of the Ninjutsu Academy has been teaching martial arts for 30 plus years, and he has been a big fan of the Gracies. So, even in Europe, even in Germany, the Gracies have a name for the ones who are into martial arts. Judo is very big in Germany. It's very cheap to be a member of the judo clubs. You can, for 10 euros a month, you can train anywhere you want. So that's a little bit of a challenge for the schools, because obviously you can't run a Gracie school with $10 membership a month.
Right.
So, but again, they are seeing the martial artists over there, seeing now the need with the UFC becoming also more popular in Europe, that they cannot survive a real fight without ground techniques. So went to Hamburg to the Ninjutsu Academy, great success, just went over some basic combatives, threw in a couple of extras. Was an amazing experience. Got a lot of praise over there without praising me too much here, but we're all happy. Went to a small little town in Gronau, Karate Academy. Had a small group of 20 students over there, never been to the ground in their lives.
Wow.
And I just put them into a clinch. So what you going to do from this clinch situation, from here in this range, you guys cannot punch and kick. And I just did a simple thing, then a frame, standing frame, escape.
Right.
Boom. Happy with that. Trap and roll, amazing. Punch protection, trap and roll, amazing. And headlock escape 1, it was the biggest hit throughout for the whole seminar. And
great.
This is stuff we take for granted here. That somebody knows how to get out of a basic headlock escape.
So true.
So I'm getting more and more inquiries in Germany to do seminars, which is very exciting. Even the guys from the Certified Training Center in Düsseldorf, they're starting to travel already a little bit, do a little seminar here and there. So we're spreading the word. I am very fortunate in my life that I can afford, at my point now, to play a little bit more in jiu-jitsu, which is, by the way, not everybody knows that, it's not my full-time job. I'm still a full-time real estate agent, which gives me a little bit of flexibility. And I do have the opportunity to take a few weeks off and go and do what I love to do, which is teach jiu-jitsu. And
awesome.
My mission is, I told Henner and Hiron that my mission is to go to Europe and try to open more doors for us, because I truly feel that, number one, we do make the best instructors, because we're not just giving out black belts and say go and teach. No, even our black belts have to go through our curriculum of becoming an instructor. And I truly believe that some of our belt instructors are better instructors than most black belt instructors out in some other academies, because they just were told the right formula to do it.
Yeah, it's one thing to and not to take away from any black belt of what they've earned. It's years of blood, sweat, and tears. So props to anyone that's achieved that. But there's also world class in anything, in kickboxing, karate, or any kind of martial art that may be great at doing it, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be great at teaching it. So I do think it's so important to go through something like the Academy has and learn the best way to actually break it down, to teach it. It's makes such a difference.
Yes, and I tell you, I've been through all the instructor certification programs here. We've had now, which we've been doing for 7 or 8 years, and there were people in there where I thought there's no way in the world this guy is ever going to become a good teacher. But because Hiron Hanna did teach him the proper way to teach, there were actually people who pulled it off to become a good instructor, or even a great instructor, where I don't think with our guidance here they would have been able to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Agree. I have a master's degree in nursing, and it has a specialization in education. So I can really appreciate when I went through it. I can definitely see how in depth and how thorough the methodology of teaching is, and I really appreciate all they put into that. It shows in the quality of what they produce.
Yeah, and they just didn't pull this out of their fingers. I think Hannah did years and years of research to come up with the kind of formula we are being taught today, and the way every Gracie Jiu-Jitsu certified Jiu-Jitsu instructor is teaching today all over the world, and having that unity within the program that you can go to South Africa and learn under James out there, and you learn the same thing as you learn in Dusseldorf. It's just amazing, and nobody has that.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, agreed.
So you mentioned your day jobs, quote unquote, real estate. Tell us a little more about that, and also if you have any hobbies when you're not on the mat.
Yeah, well, number one, of course, I still have to get my real estate business, give that a lot of attention. So basically what I'm doing, I teach during the day, during the lunch hours. Those are my main hours, 11 o'clock class, 12:30 class. Get to work in the morning, get a little bit of work done, come here, train for an hour or two, go back to work. Sometimes I have a private schedule that night or so, no problem, but the flexibility is there, and obviously I can schedule my real estate clients around my schedule here at the Academy, so that's not a problem. Been doing real estate for 25 years. It's been a good business for me. I think just like Jiu-Jitsu, teaching Jiu-Jitsu, real estate is a people business. So bottom line is, if the people like you, they will do business with you, whether it's real estate or if you are a likable instructor, they will stay at your academy and learn from you. So, just being a likable person is probably a good word. It's important for both businesses. And that's the one thing Hannah has been drilling to all of our instructors over and over. Look, guys, I don't care what's going on in your personal life. When you step on the mat, you're gonna be the best instructor there is. And you're going to be the friendliest instructor there is. And you're going to make connection with our students. And if you had a bad day and you don't feel like showing up, don't show up. Or if you do show up, but if you do show up, you give it all, and you don't let anybody see or feel what's going on in your life.
That's great.
And that's the same thing with real estate. You just can't be grumpy with your clients. No matter what's going on in your life, you have to show them your best side, and it's been good to me. I've been fortunate that I actually did invest in some real estate, so I have some rental properties right now, and unfortunately I'll be turning 50 really soon. So
well, I can relate to that. So
yeah, so it's a little tough to see everybody's getting better and you getting older, and you kind of feel at my age that you're not really progressing anymore, and your conditioning, your strength is kind of fading away a little bit. That's a little tough to deal with, but it is what it is, right?
Absolutely. Can't stop it, so you might as well just do the best you can with it, right?
No, you just have to try to live a healthy life, which I do for the most part. I do appreciate the Gracie diet Horian brought out. I try to follow it as good as I can. But, of course, everybody who knows me a little bit better, they kind of know what my weaknesses are. But I won't be talking about that right now.
You won't share your weaknesses?
Well, you can kind of put it together probably. Being German, being
right.
grown up in Germany, being born and raised in Germany, spent most of my, I was 23 when I came, so my crazy years I spent in Germany, so you do bring some bad habits with you. But the bad habits are not that bad that I can't obviously perform here in Jiu-Jitsu. And I must say, personally, for me, the things, I mean, at my age, without Jiu-Jitsu, obviously, I couldn't compete with any of these guys we have on the mat today. But I can still roll with Lyoto Machida or Kevin Casey, and I don't beat them, but I can still give them a pretty nice roll for their money. So,
wow, that's saying a lot right there.
Yes, and I mean, obviously, without Jiu-Jitsu, I wouldn't be in the shape I am today. I'm not in the best shape by all means. I certainly could use more cardio workout on the side, but it definitely keeps me in shape, and it's just fun to still be able to roll with, some of the young kids who are getting better and better, bigger and stronger, by the minute. So it's been just an amazing experience, and gosh, I wouldn't even know what I would do with my life without Jiu-Jitsu.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure that any black belt you have ever talked to probably would tell you the same thing.
Right, absolutely. Well, just to expand on that a little bit, my last question for you is, what's the most important thing about Jiu-Jitsu for you, and how has it impacted your life? So you shared some right there. Do you have any other things you want to share about how it's impacted your life?
Well, how it's impacted my life? Number one, I have made friends in Jiu-Jitsu all over the world. I can go to Japan tomorrow and I can be invited by Jiu-Jitsu friends. I can go to the Philippines. I can go to Germany. I can go to Holland. I can go to France. Just being here through these instructor certification programs, connecting with all these people from all over the world, that is priceless right there. Just making all these connections, meeting all these amazing peoples from all kinds of walks of life, from all different cultures. It's just ridiculous. I mean, that is probably the one thing I enjoy most. I just love people. I love cultures. I love traveling, and I love meeting all these people. And, I like to talk to them, and eventually I would love to go to every CTC we have and try to get them or make them better, try to help them with their game, and try to help them become better Jiu-Jitsu practitioners and maybe also better instructors. So that's the one big thing I love about this place. You see so many different people from all over the world. And then, of course, it still keeps me fit. I don't think there is any better workout than, doing a 30 minutes, 45 minutes worth of sparring, whether you keep it playful or you keep it real. There's stretching involved during sparring. You don't stretch, but you stretch. It's like an automatic thing going on. You build muscle, you build your core. You can.
It does it all.
This is like CrossFit right there on the mat.
Exactly. It's one of the best ways to stay fit there is, and like you said, just the whole brotherhood of it makes it so worthwhile. Just learning another language opens up a whole different world to someone that does that. But Jiu-Jitsu is like that. If you're into Jiu-Jitsu and you learn that language, so to speak, you go somewhere else, talk to someone that's into it, another practitioner, and it's such a bond. It's like you have a whole different world that many people don't know about, and it's just an awesome thing.
And that's the third thing I was going to bring up. I've been here so long, and I grew up with the kids, and now the next generation is coming up. Horion's, smaller kids, they're growing up right now, and the family really grew on me, and I hope that I grew on them a little bit, even though I give them a hard time when Germany beats Brazil 7-1. So it's been a
you
second.
Have to.
It's been a second family for me here. It's been an amazing journey just being here. The environment here is so positive, so amazing that it's just a pleasure to come here and hang out here. And I think that's why a lot of our students just come back to be on the mat here, to meet nice people, and just to forget about their day in, day out life, you know. So that's been, it is the green mat, the heaven, Jiu-Jitsu heaven. There is a reason for that, and I'm sure everybody who's been here and who's felt the vibe here probably will say the same thing.
Absolutely. Everybody who hasn't needs to go out and experience it at least once for themselves.
100%, yes.
Guido, before we close, do you want to give people your website for your real estate business?
Yes, I do have a website for my real estate, which is Guido, Guido, .listingbook.com. And then I have a personal Gracie website. It's Guido Jenniges, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Black Belt.com. A little lengthy, but self-explanatory.
Absolutely.
And I have a lot of stuff in there. A lot of the pictures of the people I met. I also did a couple of MMA fights back in the days. One of them was against Carl Parisian, and that is on my website. Yes, even though I lost the match, it's still an interesting match to watch.
Absolutely, it's great, man. And great that you did it.
And that was me being a 2-degree blue belt, you know, trying to figure out whether or not at age of 35 I could still become an MMA fighter.
You had to check it out, right?
I had to try, yes.
That's right. And I'll put links to all those sites you just gave in the show notes as well on our website. So
cool.
Well, you're certainly a very interesting person, and you've certainly had a big impact on those around you, both abroad and here, and to the blind population. So really, hats off to you, Guido. You're an awesome guy, and hope you keep up the great work. And I appreciate you being here and talking to us.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. And let's keep on building the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu academies all over the world.
Okay, time for the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment. Let's start with a quote. Life is not a stress rehearsal. And that's from Loretta LaRoche. So let's talk about stress for a moment. For many of us, our lives, have become somewhat of a pressure cooker of unrealistic expectations and information overload. We live in a society where stress is an epidemic, and stress can really take a toll on our lives, physically, mentally, emotionally, and really rob us from the potential joy of our lives. So very important that we spend some time thinking about it and learning how to manage stress as much as possible. Now, obviously, on this short segment, I don't have time to give a full stress management seminar, so I'd like to just concentrate on one technique that you can do and incorporate in your daily life. The problem or the challenge with most stress management techniques or strategies is that they require you to think about them, to remember to do them, and then take a separate action different than your normal daily life. And that works for some people, but a lot of people it just doesn't work too well. So this one you'll be able to just kind of incorporate in your daily life without a lot of extra time or effort. Now, the number one best thing you can do for stress is breathe. And I'm not going to go into a lot of how to breathe. You can find that information out there. I may do that on a later episode. But breathing from your abdomen, the diaphragmatic breathing from your diaphragm, which is your upper abdomen. Now, everybody starts doing shallow chest breaths when they're under tension or stress. It's just normal. So our breaths become shallow and we're tense. and we breathe from our chest. So again, let's breathe from our abdomen. Just doing that is going to change a lot. So what I'd like to introduce you to is called the green dot technique. And you've probably all seen the little round stickers. They come in different colors. I call them green dots because I use green, but you can use any color that you'd like. So here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to take a moment and think about the top 3 places that you experience stress on a habitual or daily basis. For a lot of people, it's on the phone or in the car with traffic. That's a big one for me. Or at their computer, whatever it may be for you. Pick the top 3, and I want you to put one of these stickers in those locations. If it's in your car, put it right on your dashboard or your gear shift or whatever. If it's your computer, just put it right there where you'll see it, and you can even put one on your phone. And I want this to become a trigger. And what I mean by a trigger is that it's going to be automatic. You won't have to think about it. I want you to quote unquote program yourself that every time you see one of your green dots or your stickers, you immediately are committed to taking at least 3 slow, deep breaths from your abdomen. Now, 3 will make a huge impact if you do this several times throughout the day, 3 breaths. And if you go up to more like 10 breaths, of course, you'll have an even bigger impact. But let's just start with a minimum of 3 every time you see one of your green dots or stickers. Without even thinking about it, go into nice, deep breaths, nice and slow. Doing this several times a day is a way to actually kind of push the reset button and really help manage stress. It's very simple, very quick after you initially go buy your stickers. Something you can incorporate right away, and it helps combat the cumulative effects of stress. Many times you don't realize how tense you are, how much you are kind of holding your breath because of a stressful situation until you actually breathe and feel some of it melt away. And then you're like, wow, I didn't realize I was so tense. So trust me, this happens all the time. So I encourage you to do this. Like I said, my biggest one is traffic. So I have one right there in my car, and it really helps to manage this. Hope that helps, and let me know what you think about it. If you do incorporate it, let me know what the experience is like for you. And that's going to do it for this episode of the show. As always, thanks for listening. I appreciate the support. Please like us on Facebook when you get a moment, and of course, rate us and leave a comment if you'd like on iTunes as well as going to the website and leaving your comment, www.graciejujitsurocks.com. Until next time, this is Marty Josie, and I'll see you on the mat.